Welcome to the debut episode of our exciting new series, Hiking Gear Unveiled. This is where we're going to unravel the mysteries of outdoor equipment one piece at a time. In this inaugural episode, join us as we dive deep into the crucial world of hiking base layers.
I always wear thermals.
It's going to be the foundation of your outdoor ensemble, and the base layer plays a pivotal role in ensuring your comfort and your performance on the trail. Base layers, here we go.
But what about the second layer and the third layer?
Make sure you guys stick around until the end of the video where I'm gonna reveal my favorite hack for always having warm and completely dry base layers every single morning.
Slap the base.
Okay, first up guys, we're gonna talk about the role of hiking base layers. There's a couple different ones. The first one I wanna talk about is thermal regulation.
And over here is our thermal regulator.
Base layers are there to help you maintain body temperature by either trapping in warmth or allowing excess heat to escape in hot conditions. They serve as a foundation of your clothing system, and they're gonna help keep you comfortable in that changing weather. Another major aspect that's important in base layers is gonna be moisture management.
Perspiration passes through the first layer.
Base layers are gonna help wick moisture away from your skin, and they're gonna disperse it into the outer layers of your clothing. This is gonna help prevent moisture from accumulating, which can lead to chafing and discomfort, all kinds of stuff you don't wanna experience. Especially in cold conditions, this is an issue because you can get hypothermic.
Everything's frozen.
All right, next up, we're gonna talk about comfort and fit. Like most other clothes, very important. It's gonna provide a snug next to skin fit that minimizes chafing and friction between your body and the outer layers. Base layers tend to wanna be real close to your body, that way they stay efficient. This is gonna promote an overall comfort during those physical activities where you're moving around. All right, the next thing that I wanna bring up is a layering system.
Layered, like lasagna?
Layered, like nachos.
Base layers are a critical part of a system that works together. They're gonna work with the mid layer and the outer layer to create versatility in your clothing system. It's gonna allow it to adapt to various changing conditions. By adding or removing base layers, you can adjust your clothing to stay comfortable.
My special super thermal B long underwear.
All right, I wanna do a little bit of a deep dive. We're gonna talk a little bit more about temperature regulation, how it relates to base layers. So in cold weather, base layers' main function is to trap warm air nice and close to your skin. That's gonna provide you with the warmth that you need. Materials like merino wool, synthetic fleece, they're definitely gonna excel in this regard. They're gonna help you stay super warm when it's really cold outside. On the other hand, when you're in hot conditions, you want really lightweight and very breathable base layers. There's a bunch of different materials used for this, but they're going to allow excess heat to escape, and they're gonna promote airflow. They wick moisture away from you, and they're gonna keep you dry and cool.
Lay in a base.
A little more as it pertains to moisture wicking. Base layers need to be really efficient at wicking sweat and moisture away from your skin. This doesn't matter if you're hot or cold. If you don't have this going on, you're gonna end up with a lot of discomfort. You can have pooling of moisture on your body. It's really no bueno for any kind of temperature fluctuation.
That's gross.
Another really big point, especially when you're talking about hot versus cold, is gonna be the layer weight. So how thick the layer is.
It's porous cloth.
Porous cloth.
Lighter weights are suitable for the warm weather. Heavier ones are gonna be better for insulating in cold conditions. The adaptability of those weights is gonna allow us to fine tune our kit so that we can adapt to specific climates and also activity levels. So if you've ever spent any time on the trail before, you're gonna know that odor resistance is kind of a big deal.
What does that smell?
Some base layer materials like merino wool naturally resist the odors, making them ideal for extended hikes where frequent laundering isn't an option. I wanna give you a couple factors to consider when you're choosing your hiking base layers for specific trips. So you wanna obviously look at the forecast of where you're going. Is it gonna be super rainy this week with like a 90% guarantee? Make sure you have things that are suitable. Is it gonna be abnormally hot this week or however long you're gone? You can kind of customize your kit and be like, oh, everything's perfect except I'm gonna trade this piece for this piece because of the weather.
Is it shorts weather where we're going?
Another thing that you wanna think about is the inherent properties of the materials that you're wearing. Do you have enough things to wick moisture off you? Do you have enough things that are gonna be nice and cozy and snug and warm? Just making sure that you've got a good collection of items that's gonna give you the versatility that you need.
So, what you packing?
Next up, always consider your comfort and your fit. If you're kind of in between on something, you put it on, you're like, yeah, it's pretty comfortable, but you know this, and you're like, but I'll deal with it. It's like, probably don't. Make sure that you're really comfortable and that things fit you really well. It's gonna pay dividends when you're wearing them all day long for a week at a time. Having them super comfortable is way better than having something kind of comfortable.
That guy in a little coat.
And then I would say the last thing you want to consider is the weight of your overall clothing kit. So sometimes I was talking about trading pieces in and pieces out, trying to get everything just right. A lot of times you can save some weight by thinking of your kit as an entity and not just one piece at a time. Oftentimes you can go a little bit lighter on one piece knowing you have a collection that's going to support it properly, and you can actually have a lower net overall weight in your clothing, which is super useful. Who wants to carry more than they need?
No, hard pass. Hard pass.
All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about specific materials. My personal favorite, merino wool. Breathability is excellent. The moisture wicking is excellent. The comfort is really outstanding in my opinion. Personally, I think it's soft but not too itchy. The weight is obviously going to depend on the thickness of merino you need for the trip that you're on. So that could go either way, but in general, it's a solid choice. The odor resistance is amazing. It's definitely the least stinky of all base layers. Next up, synthetic blends. This is going to include materials like polyester and nylon. Breathability is very good. Moisture wicking, very good. Comfort is good. It kind of varies depending on your opinion. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely not bad. The weight is very light, so that's a definite plus. Even with different thicknesses, it generally stays pretty light. The odor resistance, I would say, is fair to good. It can kind of vary depending on the piece. All right, slightly less common, but still totally relevant is going to be your bamboo fabrics. Breathability is very good. Moisture wicking, very good. Comfort, I would say, is excellent. They're soft and even have like a bit of a smooth feel to them. I really like them. The weight stays nice and light with bamboo. The odor resistance I would classify as good, probably a little above average. All right, this one's a bit more of an old school material, but it's fantastic. Polypropylene, very good breathability. The moisture wicking classifies as excellent, up there with the best. As far as comfort, fair to good. Some people love it, some people hate it. It is definitely less soft. The weight is nice and light, and the odor resistance, I think most people classify it as moderate to good. I personally think it's terrible. Every time I've worn polypros, they have been super stinky. Not the end of the world, but I definitely think it's something you should keep in mind. There are actually quite a few products out there that are still made in silk. The breathability is good, not great. Moisture wicking, again, good, not great. Comfort is excellent, especially if you've ever had anything silk, you know how smooth and lightweight it is. The weight is extremely light, which is a plus. The odor resistance, definitely not the best. So keep that in mind for sure. Last but not least, guys, we have cotton. The breathability, fair, not so great. Moisture wicking is very poor. I would say the comfort is good. Everybody's worn cotton, so if you love cotton, you know what's up. The weight, moderate, and odor resistance is pretty poor. Cotton is generally not a good choice. I want to wrap things up here today by showing you a few specific pieces now that we've talked about all the elements to consider. First up, I've got a long sleeve merino wool. It's, I think, a 120 weight, and it's a quarter zip at the top. Just helps a little bit with temperature regulation. A really nice layer, fits nice and snug for me. And I've worn this on several trips. It's a really mainstay in my kit. I've got a couple new ones. I've worn one of them, but I haven't worn the other, so I'll keep you posted on that. But they're identical materials. They're identical weight. They're both from Outdoor Vitals. This particular one is a long sleeve merino. Again, nice and thin, and it's hooded. Okay, looks like it's going to have a lot of versatility. This is the one that I haven't worn yet. The reason I got it is the hood, and I've got the bald head. So it really helps me put something on top of my head for sun protection without being warm at all. Keeps sweat from dripping in my face. This one I have worn, and it's the exact same shirt. Obviously, it's short sleeve and no hood. So really just an all-around versatile short sleeve shirt. My favorite base layer for legs is I tend to run warm. So I haven't currently come up against conditions where I really felt like I needed a thicker base layer than this. These, I believe, are 120 weight, as well as the original top I showed you over there. They go all the way down to my ankles, and the comfort on these is what I love so much about them. They are unbelievably comfortable. They fit nice and snug to my skin. I wear them day after day, and they don't like start to sag and lose their tightness over the course of the trip. I'm in love with these.
Life hacking, baby.
I told you at the beginning of the video I had a hack for you. Super simple, highly effective. Whenever you take off your base layers at the night to get into your sleeping bag, sometimes they're pretty moist because they're doing all that moisture wicking. I throw them in the bottom of my bag. My body's producing heat. It's gonna help dry them out. They're also gonna be nice and toasty warm in the morning. If you guys have any hacks or procedures that you use with your base layers that help you out while you're on the trail, put them in the comments. Let us know. Let's get the community involved here. We always love learning new things. We like sharing new things. All right, guys, we got a couple links down in the description for the items that I showed you, so you can check those out if you want to. Also, always like our videos. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Hit that notification button so you know when the next video is coming out. Speaking of next video, this was only episode 1. Episode 2 is gonna be on our mid layers. Make sure you check it out. And as always, keep adventuring.